So I think you know that AIPAC is both a grassroots organization and also a leadership empowerment organization. So a particular concern to us are not African Americans, but those African Americans that will be part of the Congressional Black Caucus, those African Americans that will be governors, those African Americans that will be part of the cabinet of successive administrations. And we have been rather successful in identifying young, emerging political leaders, sometimes when they're in their teens, sometimes when they're on college campuses, sometimes when they're just getting into state politics, and sometimes when they first emerge as congressional candidates. AIPAC built a relationship with Barack Obama before he was a president, before he was a presidential candidate, before he was a U.S. Senator. We built a relationship with him before he was in the Illinois State House. The relationship we built with Sarah Palin was before she was mayor. The groups that we are most excited about bringing to Israel for the first time would be the national, state, and local leaders of the College Republican National Committee and the College Democrats of America. And the fact that we bring them to Israel together, lock them in a bus, don't let them come down from the top of Masada until they understand the importance of working together, may be one of our only hedges against the breakdown of bipartisanship that we're witnessing today.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a conversation that's been heating up in the Black community, political independence. Are Black Americans finally ready to break away from the Democratic Party? Or perhaps, is it time to build our own path in the political arena? Let's talk about why many people are starting to feel done with the current two-party system and the call for real, impactful change. For generations, the Democratic Party has been the default choice for many Black Americans. But let's ask ourselves, what's that loyalty really gotten us? For a lot of folks, it's been a string of promises with little to show for it, whether it's the racial wealth gap, access to affordable housing, job opportunities, or the lack of a serious anti-Black hate crime bill. There's a strong feeling in the community that the Democrats aren't holding up their end of the bargain. The critique goes deep. There's a perception that Democrats focus on appeasing other communities and in the process, sideline issues that directly impact Black Americans. Some say it's almost like the party has been pushing this agenda of turning Black women against Black men, building division in a way that seems intentional. Now, is that the whole truth? Maybe not. But if even part of the community feels this way, we have to ask why. People are questioning if the party truly represents us. The Republican Party isn't the solution either. Now, let's not get it twisted. The Republican Party isn't the savior here either. Historically, the GOP has rarely positioned itself as the party of Black empowerment. So some folks are asking why align with either party. That's why we're seeing more voices pushing for Black political independence. It's about moving away from these entrenched systems that both seem to uphold white supremacy, either openly or subtly. From the Democrats' clan-linked origins to the Republicans' focus on law and order over racial equality, both parties have a lot to answer for. Some of us are saying, look, I'll sit down with either party if it means getting something real for my people. But it's about holding both sides accountable, not just saying, I'm a Democrat or Republican no matter what. Why? Because both parties want to maintain their hold on power. They're not about sharing that power with us, and they're definitely not interested in closing the racial wealth gap. So more and more people are realizing that the path forward might require stepping away from both parties altogether. And let's look beyond our borders for a moment. Think about South Africa. In that country, the majority of the population is Black, and yet we see the same issues of inequality and underrepresentation. You can find major cities in America where Black people make up the majority, but it's the white folks who are thriving economically. In South Africa, you have Black politicians who are supposed to represent the people, and yet the wealthiest segments remain largely white. This isn't just an American problem, it's a global issue. And it seems like everywhere we look, Black politicians are pressured to keep the privileged elite comfortable while leaving the masses behind. Whether it's here or in South Africa, the community only seems to get attention when we say enough is enough and start demanding change. This brings us to the call for true Black political independence. Imagine what we could achieve if we weren't tied down to either the Democrats or the Republicans. What if we could align with issues, not parties? This independence would allow us to build alliances with anyone, Democrat, Republican, or otherwise, based on policies that actually serve our community's needs. And let's be clear, this isn't about sitting back and waiting for either party to do right by us. It's about demanding action, and if they're not delivering, we're out. We're seeing more Black Americans saying, I don't have permanent friends, I don't have permanent enemies, just permanent interests. If the Democrats or Republicans come to the table with something real, we'll consider it. If they're just talking and not delivering, then we have no time for it. We'll be independent, strategic, and looking out for ourselves. Think about it. Mass deportations, for instance. If it opens up jobs for Black people, why wouldn't we support that? We're about what's best for our community, and if either side wants to earn our vote, they'll have to come with more than just empty promises. They need to understand that Black people have a voice, and we're ready to use it. True Black political independence is the goal. Imagine if we weren't bound to either Democrats or Republicans, aligning with issues instead of parties. This approach lets us build alliances with anyone, Democrat, Republican, or otherwise, based on policies that genuinely serve our community. This isn't about waiting for either party to do right by us. It's about demanding action. If they're not delivering, we're out. More Black Americans are realizing that we don't need permanent friends or enemies, just permanent interests. If Democrats or Republicans bring something real to the table, we'll consider it. If not, we have no time for empty promises. We'll stay independent and strategic, putting our community's interests first. Take mass deportations, for example. If it creates jobs for Black Americans, why wouldn't we support that? Our focus is on what's best for us, and if either side wants our vote, they need to bring more than promises. Black voices are strong and we're ready to use them. The two-party system hasn't been serving us, and it's time we acknowledge that. This isn't about being a Democrat or Republican. It's about what's best for Black Americans long-term. Both parties need to know that if they're not working for our empowerment, economic progress, and safety, we're done. Independence gives us the power to negotiate and ask each side, what are you doing for us? We're not saying Black Americans should abandon working within these parties, but we need to approach them as free agents. They need us, and it's time to make that known. Independence is about controlling our political destiny, voting in our best interest, and ensuring our loyalty isn't taken for granted.